All right, on this video, I'm going to show you how to use some of the basic tools of the equation tool in Google Docs. So if I want to create an equation, let's say I want to put an equation in here. What tools you're going to need to do this project? You're going to do that in the insert. So you're going to go to insert, and under insert, you'll see right in the middle, equation. You click on that, and it pops up this little equation bar right here. Most of the functions here you're not going to know anything about. The Greek letters you don't know about. But you know about a lot of these operators. There's multiply, there's divide, there's a multiplication dot, which we prefer. There's a couple other things in here. A lot of these you don't know what they are. That's okay. You'll learn them eventually. Symbols here, greater than, less than, equal to signs, not equal to, approximate equal, some signs you don't know. That's okay. Again, in this one is a lot of really important ones you're going to use right now. Here's your fraction. Here's your roots, your radicals, and roots that are not square roots. Here's how you do an exponent, x to the b power. Here's how you do a repeating bar notation above a number, and some parentheses. So I'm going to show you how to do some basic things. So for example, if I was to do a fraction converted to a decimal that's repeating, if I have to type in my fraction, I'm going to click on my fraction tool, and I'm going to type in my fraction. Let's say my fraction is 3, no, let's say 2 ninths. I'll use my little arrow keys or my cursor to move my cursor around, 2 ninths. All right, and let's say what that's equal to. That's equal to a decimal. 2 ninths is equal to decimal 0.18 repeating. So it's 18, 18, 18, 18. How I type a repeating? I go up here to my operations, and I have my repeating. So I go 0.18 repeating. Well, this is not quite right because look at that, the decimal's inside of the repeating. So I'm going to get that decimal out of there. I'm going to move it out to the front. There we go. So now the point is on the outside, the decimal's on the outside, and the 18 repeating is inside. That's how I can create my fraction to my repeating decimal. Or what if I have the repeating decimal, and my repeating decimal is, let's say I'm going to type a new equation, you can click new equation. My repeating decimal is, let's say 2.8, oh, sorry about that, 8, and then the only thing repeating is the 3. It's 2.83 repeating. Well, that's a mixed number, first of all, because a whole number is 2. So I need a whole number 2, and then a fraction. And the fraction is going to, for 8 through repeating, if you work it out, is going to be 5, 6. So I take my fraction tool, and 5 and 6. Oops, put 6 in the wrong spot there. And 6. Notice where the fraction bar is not very big. I like to use my space bar and just create a little space in my fraction by typing some spaces in before and after that numerator number. It widens that fraction bar, makes it look a little nicer. That's how I create some fractions and some repeating decimals. All right, they're both under this math operators tool. Fraction bar, repeating decimal. What if I need some exponents? Exponents are here. So if I have to do like 5 to the 7th power, I'm going to hit my little fraction, my little exponent tool and press 5 and use my arrow key, my right arrow. Right arrow, see my cursors move up. My cursor is down low. My cursor moves up to the exponent position, 7th power. Use the cursor again. Use the right arrow again. It drops the cursor back down to the regular level. Is equal to, well, that means it's 5 times itself 7 times in expanded form, let's say. So I would do 5. Let's use that math operator. No, sorry, the operations tool. Multiplication dot. We're not using the times. 5 dot 5 7 times. Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there we go. 5 to the 7th power is equal to 5 times a bunch of 5s 7 times. So that's how I use the exponent tool. What if I need to do a power of a power in parentheses? Well, new equation. I can start my parentheses. Now inside the parentheses, I know I'm going to have an exponent So let's say it's x to the arrow, go move my cursor up, to the 5th power, move my cursor to the outside, and I want that to be an exponent again, and my power is 4. X to the 5th power to the 4th power. Notice this gap in here. This gap is the space where that base number would have been for the 4th power. I don't like that. So watch, I'm going to make a new equation. And instead of doing that way, instead of starting in parentheses, I'm going to start by saying, I know I need a power. And then in my base, I'm going to create parentheses. And in those parentheses, now I'm going to create another power. So I have x, arrow, 5th power, arrow out, arrow again, 4th power. See how much cleaner that is? You're gonna have to play around with this a little bit. Really, the best way to learn it is to use it. That's the only way I learned it. I learned it by using it over and over and over again, figuring out my mistakes, the order in which I had to click things to get them to work. All right, so let's see, that equals one more set of powers, x to the 20th power. Okay, and a couple more. New equation, I'm going to create a radical of root. So square root of, let's say 49, arrow out, is equal to 7. Well, again, I don't particularly like this because that square root ends really close. I like to get one more space in there just to open up that radical a little bit. Just my personal preference. It makes it clear what's inside the radical, and then the radical ends over a blank space there. All right. If I want to do a cube root, well, now I'm going to go new equation. I get my operators tool, and there's my root with I can put in a number in there. See the variable inside the radical? So I click on that, and it's a 3rd root, cube root of, let's see, 125. I'm going to make a space inside to open up that radical just a little bit more, and it's equal to an equal spot. All right, that's how I can create some of my forms of numbers. There's also scientific notation, new equation. That's when we do use a multiplication x. So like 2.4. And now I can do times. And now I need a power. So remember, before I type in my 10, I'm going to create my power, 10 to the negative 7th power. All right. Different ways you can create different things. The equation tool has all things. You're just going to have to work with it to figure out some of the things that it can do and how to do all those things. Now you've got your equations. You had them made in Google Docs because Google Forms, as I told you, as far as I know, Google Forms doesn't have an equation tool. So now I've got these equations. I need to take them from my Google Doc and put them into my Google Form. Well, there's the other video I attached here about how to snip and paste on the Chromebook. The Chromebook snip is different than the Microsoft Office snip. So your snipping process is going to be to press Control, Shift, and the little key above the 6, which has like the window, the switch windows, all at the same time. And when you do that, it darkens out, just like the video showed you. Done. Save it to the clipboard. All right, I'm going to snip a different way. I'm going to snip this equation right here, or this mathematical operator right here. I snip it, and I have it saved on my clipboard. I'm not sure if you can see that. And now I go over to my Google form, and I'm going to paste that into here. So to paste, you can hit edit and paste, or if you know the shortcut, it's just Control V pastes, and there it is. Now I can take that and I can move it where I want it. Let's say I want it over here. I can expand it a little bit to make it more visible. And that's how I can cut, snip, and paste things into there. Go back to my doc again. And let's say I want to snip this x to the 5th to the 4th power. So I will use my snipping tool. For you, it's Control, Shift, and that little key above the 6. And everything gets dark like this, and you have your little target. So you trace what you want to snip. And then it's saved to your clipboard. You have to click Save to Clipboard down here in the right-hand corner. Save to Clipboard. And you'll go back to your doc or your slide, and you'll paste it there. And now it's over here. And I'm going to make that go down here, make it a little bigger so I can see it. You can resize it and set it up however you need it. All right, and that's the basics of how to use the equation tool in Microsoft, or sorry, in Google Docs. How to use the equation tool in Google Docs and how to snip and paste it into your Google slide. All right, good luck.